So considering Egypt's firm rejection of the displacement of Palestinians, how do you assess the broader geopolitical implications for the Middle East, and particularly in relation to regional stability?
Thank you for having me, Mark. The Egyptian president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, has reiterated Egypt's historical stance, Egypt's historical position on the Palestinian cause. Egypt has always had an instrumental, a long-lasting commitment to the Palestinian question, to resolving the Palestinian question, to finding a just solution to the Palestinian cause and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And what the president said stems from this unchangeable reality that will never change, no matter how much pressure Egypt might be subjected to. The president's words were utterly clear. Egypt will not be a part of a historical injustice, another historical injustice against the people of Palestine, our brethren across the border. And this also was, this sentiment echoed with the thousands, the tens of thousands of Egyptians who amassed yesterday before the Rafah border crossing on the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing to voice their opinions and make their positions clear that they support the political leadership in this matter. Pertaining to your question regarding the regional dynamics, I think today the ministerial meeting, the Egyptian Arab ministerial meeting in Cairo, has demonstrated that the Arab world collectively rejects President Trump's schemes regarding the displacement and the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians from their ancestral homeland, whether on the Gaza Strip or the West, forced displacement of the Palestinians. So regionally, Egypt has mustered regional support, Egypt and Jordan as well, regional support in terms of the Arab world to their cause, their just position against the unjust and illogical calls of the American president. And also, Egypt has mustered international support. Some European powers, like Germany, for example, and France, have voiced their concerns over the statements made by President Trump, and they have announced that they reject the forced displacement of the Palestinian people from the Gaza Strip as a sort of final solution to the Palestinian issue. And today, just a few minutes ago, President Trump and President al-Sisi held a phone call. The Egyptian readout did not reveal any discussions about this matter, which is a positive sign, meaning that President Trump might be willing to let go this very outrageous proposition. However, this will be revealed in the next few days, Mark.
And we also have Dr. Nohan El-Sheikh on the line with us as well. Welcome to the program. How does Egypt's stance on Palestinian rights align with its security strategy? And also, how do these factors shape alliances within the Arab world?
Good evening, and thank you that you're having me with you. Actually, let me first mention that the Egyptian stand is not against receiving Palestinians. Actually, Egypt Egypt up to the date has received more than 10 million from different Arab countries. From Sudan only, we have more than 5 million people. So Egypt welcome all Arab countries or Arab people, and they are our brothers and sisters. But the problem is not receiving Arab people from Palestine, but the problem is that Egypt wants to preserve their historical and legal rights to self-determination for their independent Palestinian state. If what Trump is proposed, if it is going into practical, it would be the end of Palestinian matter, and it would never be a Palestinian state. So it is initial stand from Egypt that it should be a Palestinian state that Egypt fought for more than 100 years for that, since the promising of Balfour, etc. So I think it's an initial stand to Egypt. Egypt actually the one who is responsible for that, for having such Palestinian state into being. No one can in Egypt or even in the whole world can agree with what Trump is doing, is to force displacement of Palestinians, to end the Palestinian issue. The United States itself has a commitment in that. Oslo agreements, and after Oslo agreements, the United States committed itself to have two-state solution and to have Palestinian state. So what Trump is actually proposed, it is from my point of view, is denying to all United States previous commitment, which is not acceptable at all. Plus, what you mentioned, that forced displacement of Palestinians and moving Palestinians into Sinai and Egypt, that would represent a direct threat to national security of Egypt, simply because I didn't think that a Palestinian will give up fighting Israeli and fighting for their land. So what we are doing, that we are moving the war inside Egypt, not solving the problem. Solving the problem, a lasting peace, mean simply equal a Palestinian state. We hope that the call between His Excellency President Sisi and President Trump today may clear and have a clear view for Trump. Maybe he is listening only to Israelis, but I think this is the time to listen to the Arab and the whole world, or the rest of the world view.
Well, I think we're going to come back to the United States in just a moment. But Dr. Osman, let's talk about Jordan. Considering Jordan's shared border with Palestine, how important is Jordan in opposing the displacement of Palestinians? And how can Arab states collectively act to strengthen their position?
When we speak of Jordan, we speak of the larger scheme of the displacement, this sinister, evil scheme for the liquidation of the Palestinian cause. The idea is to empty the remaining ancestral historical lands of the Palestinians, whether in the Gaza Strip and more importantly in the West Bank, which is much more pivotal and instrumental for Israel's expansionist designs, is to empty them and cleanse them of the Palestinians. And where will they move the Palestinians? In the West Bank, the proposal is to move them to Jordan. Jordan already hosts millions of Palestinians. Half of the Jordanian population is of Palestinian origin. And this should tell you what the plans, how detrimental any potential displacement of the Palestinians into Jordan could be for Jordanian stability and even ethnic homogeneity of the local populace. So this is very dangerous. And of course, Jordan has a history of internal conflict on account of that in the past, of course. So that's why Jordan is very keen, in addition to their historical commitment to the Palestinian cause, the Jordanian leadership and the Jordanian royal family, whether King Hussein and afterwards now King Abdullah, all of them are committed to the foundational principles of the Palestinian cause and the Palestinian and resolving the Palestinian issue based on the two-state solution. And Jordan musters all the support it can from its Arab brethren, primarily Egypt. Let's not forget, Mark, this is not the first time the idea of displacement was entertained. It has been entertained several times over and even implemented partially several times in the past 7+ decades. And since the beginning of the war in Gaza on the 7th of October, it was entertained once. Under the Biden administration, the Israelis were pushing for it. Egypt declared its utter rejection and opposition, along with Jordan, along with many countries, the Arab countries and Islamic countries, and many countries around the world, Europe, India, China, Russia, everyone stood against it. So back then, this scheme or this plan was foiled. However, Trump is resuscitating now this whole evil scheme, and I insist on calling it an evil scheme. You know that you're not used to my dramatic language, but I am very prone to use such colorful language sometimes to such a drastic event, Mark. So when this happens, if this happens, it could be that that is completely opposed to it. The unified Egyptian-Jordanian stance at the first time was instrumental in failing these efforts, and now the united Egyptian-Jordanian stance will again be instrumental to foiling the schemes once more this time. And we will see what will happen over the next few days and weeks. The Arab countries today have made their position clear. The Jordanian foreign minister was here among his Arab brethren. They were very keen on conveying a very strong message against the forced displacement and the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. And I expect that more international support will come and stand behind the call of these Arab nations. However, Trump remains to be a very challenging leader, a very challenging factor in this equation, because he is not of a level-headed leader in terms when we compare him or measure him comparatively with other previous U.S. presidents and previous U.S. administrations. However, we will see whether Trump is willing to sacrifice the strategic alliances and relationships and partnerships with key important countries like Egypt and Jordan for the sake of catering to the agenda of the Israeli far right, not even the entirety of Israel, the Israeli far right, who are a bunch of lunatics, if you ask me.